So now I'm gonna explain about the homework that Mr. Gungu gave to us, which is this all about the Holyfield Corporation wishes to exchange a machine used in its operations, and there are actually four different offers, which divided by also four different questions. So first of all, that you have to take a look is that the data that we have in the bottom of the question, which is we have the Holyfield, Dorset, Winston, Liston, Greeley, and all of them are all about the machine cost, accumulated depreciation, and fair value. And then now I'm gonna answer this problem sequentially. Therefore, I will make four different parts about the explanation in this problem. So let's begin. So for the first questions is about the corset company that offered to exchange a similar machine plus, which is $23,000. And there's also the additional information that says the exchange has commercial substance for both parties. So here's the things that we should know first, that this problem is actually non-monetary exchange. And the second thing is that the exchange has commercial substance for both parties. Also, that we have to underline is that the Dorset company offered to exchange a similar machine plus with the $23,000. So the first thing that we should put into our account, as you can see there, that I have done my assignment, and then I will explain to you side by side. And then the first thing is the fair value right here. Fair value is actually has been mentioned by the problem. You can see from the data that the book gave to us, which is the $92,000. And then we have to take a look about the machine cost, which is $160,000. And we have to find the book value first, which you should do is actually only you have to subtract from the machine cost with the accumulated depreciation right here, and then you will get the book value right here. After that, you can see whether this the offer is actually gonna loss or gained. And as you can see here, that it's actually loss, because you can see from here that the 92,000, the fair value, and it's being subtracted by the book value, and it's actually negative. And because it has the negative value, it means that this is loss. And after that, you have to take a look about the Dorset data in here, that the fair value right here is actually used for the machinery for the Holyfield company. And then you only have to add the accumulated depreciation by the Holyfield company. Just remember that we are using the Holyfield data, not the Dorset, for the accumulated depreciation, because it's for the Holyfield company account. Then we also have to add the loss on disposal of used machine that we got from here, and we put it this way. And then also just you have to be remember that the the application that Dorset sent to us is that they want to give us money for $23,000 to exchange their machine with ours. Then the thing that we should do is actually just put it this way, and we have to sum those all, and we got this result, which is 160,000. So the next one is the Dorset company account. The Dorset company account is actually pretty similar with the Holyfield company, but the difference is only the number. So the first thing, like I mentioned before, that you have to take a look about the fair value data in the Dorset account that has been mentioned in the problem. So the problem says that the Dorset fair value is $69,000. Then you just put it this way, and then you just have to take a look about the mentioned cost that also has mentioned in the problem as well. So you just only put it in here, and then the accumulated depreciation for the machine that owned by the Dorset company is $45,000, and then you have to subtract the $120,000 with the $45,000, and then you got this number right here, which is 75,000, and it's actually really the same with the previous one right here. So you only just subtract this number with this number, and you also get the loss right here, and the loss is $6,000. And then the machinery, as I mentioned before, that it's actually not using the Dorset data, but instead we use the Holyfield data, which is 92,000, right? So this is the same with here, that we still use the Dorset company data, which is $45,000, and then the loss as well. Loss is from here, and machinery, and actually if we total all of them, we'll get the 120,000 plus 23,000. So you can say that this is what they have to pay, yeah, or maybe just like that. Yeah, it's actually pretty simple, but you have to know how to do it first. So thank you for the part 1. So for the next question in this problem is about the Holyfield company that is offered by the Winston company to actually exchange a similar machine, but there's also the additional information that the exchange lacks commercial substance for both parties. Therefore, it means that we can basically recognize losses immediately. So because it has a lacks commercial substance, then we just not using the method for the number first or number 1. Therefore, instead we use this method right here, that the machinery data that we use is actually from the Holyfield company. Then again, because it's not using the I mean, because it has the lacks of commercial substance. So we use the 92,000 from the Holyfield's fair value data, which is $92,000, and then we also use the accumulated depreciation from the Holyfield data, and the loss on disposal of used machine is actually also from this one, which is the book value minus fair value. But then again, because it has the lacks of commercial substance, we don't have necessary to do that, because we can basically recognize the loss immediately. And then after we count of all of them, we get this number. That's it. And then we move on to the Winston Company count. That the fair value that Winston Company has is actually 92,000. And then sorry, if I may repeat, my first explanation is all about the 92,000. It's actually because the offer is being made by the Winston Company, that they have to be detailed about the account, like the first one. So like I mentioned before, that we have to use the fair value from the Winston Company, right? And then we have to use also the mission cost that has been mentioned by the Winston Company in their data, which is $152,000, and we have to subtract it with the accumulated depreciation, which is $71,000, and we get the 81,000 right here. This is my mistake. It's actually gained. Sorry for that. Yeah, this is gained. So I will change the color first. Aha. So it's actually a gain. What about if we have the gain disposal instead of like the loss? What do you think about it? So actually, if you have a loss, you count it as your expense, but because it's actually gain, you'll count it as your, what is it, like you get what you get. But if it's loss, what do you have to pay? Just as simple like that. Therefore, we have the machinery that supposed to be like $92,000, but because we have the gain on here, I mean, instead of like we have the loss, but we have the gain. So it's basically we have just to subtract the $92,000 from the fair value in Winston Company with the 11,000 that we got from this here. After that, we just only put it right here, and then we still have to count it with the accumulated depreciation like the previous one here. So as we sum the number of it, and then we'll get the number of 152,000. So I think that's all my explanation. Thank you. So I will explain about the number 3 after this in the very soon. Thank you very much. So continue for number 3. The question is, listen company over to exchange a similar machine, but they wanted a $3,000 in addition to Holyfield's machine. And the additional information is the exchange has commercial substance for both parties. So it's actually like the number 1. But then again, because it has a commercial substance, therefore it means that we have to recognize gains and losses immediately. Yeah. So the first thing that we should do, unlike the previous one right here, we use instead the data from the listed company, which is the machinery, or we can find about the machinery value is the fair value data. It's $95,000. And then we still actually use the Holyfield accumulated depreciation because it's a fix. We can't change that. We cannot. So the accumulated depreciation value is $60,000. And then we still use the same number of the loss on disposal of used machine right here. Holyfield company, which is $8,000. And after we calculate all of them, we have this result. Still the same with the here, right? But it's actually different. I'm just kidding. So it's here, $160,000. And after we have this number right here, we still have to remember about the over that the listed company gave to the Holyfield's company, which is the Holyfield's company, they have to pay $3,000 more for the machine, for the exchange event. Therefore, we have to put the cash right here, right? And we have to move on to the next account, which is the listed company account. So we still use the $95,000 from the fair values of listed. Okay, you got it? Yeah. And then next we just find the machine cost from the listed machine cost data. Alright, and then as I always mention that the accumulated depreciation is a fix, we can change that. We always use from the company itself, right? So we subtract this number with this number and it results $85,000. And then we get the gain again, which is $10,000. So we have this one, so we can put it here. But before that, we have to take care of this account first, which is the machinery fair value. Then again, because it has still exchange, has commercial substance for both parties, so we use it from the Holyfield company data, which is $92,000. And the accumulated depreciation data is $75,000 from the listed company right here. Alright, and then as the equation has mentioned that the listed company wants 3,000 more from the Holyfield company, therefore we can put it here. And then the machinery would be 160,000. It's actually, we can add costs from here, but is actually not really necessary, but it's alright. Just make more, much more detail actually, right? Therefore, we have 160,000 and 10,000 for gain here. Alright, so I just want to continue directly to the number 4. So the number 4 is all about the in addition. It's actually addition quotient that I don't really like it. So, but it's alright. So in addition, Holyfield contacted the Greeley Corporation, a dealer in machines, to actually obtain a new machine. Holyfield must pay $93,000 in addition to trading in its own machine. So it's basically just like the Holyfield company wants to sell their old machinery and then they want to buy the new one. So the fair value, I mean the price of the machine is actually $185,000, and the accumulated depreciation then again from the Holyfield company is actually the same that they have to pay for $60,000, right? So we put it this way. Then we still use the laws on disposal of used machines like the first number. Alright, so which is $8,000. Then as we actually calculate that, I was wrong, I guess. Yeah, I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah, I think I was wrong. So actually I wasn't wrong. I was alright. I mean, I was right in that time. So it's actually this number got from the machine cost of the Holyfield, right? So we have the data of $160,000 for the machine cost when they bought it, right? And then, as the equation mentioned, is that the Holyfield must pay $93,000 more, right? In addition to trading for its old machine. So we have this number right here, and then we move on to the Greeley company account, which is the used machine inventory is actually 92,000, and it's actually we got from the fair value of the Holyfield company, right? So actually, just like for the simple words, is that the Holyfield company just wants to sell it for 92,000, and the cash that they should pay more is actually 93,000. So it equals $185,000 as the agreement, right? So they have that machine cost that they actually pay for 130,000. So it will count as cost of goods sold, and it will be written as the inventory for. I'm sorry, I will repeat my last explanation about it. Like the cost of goods sold is actually, I mean, because they sold their inventory, which is the machine, so they put it here that 130,000 because it already mentioned in the mission costs in Kirelli company, and then they put it as the inventory. So thank you very much, and I really hope that I explain it pretty clearly, but I think I didn't. So bye.